I was thinking the other day about how I became interested in Mithras. I remember that when my children were small, there was I had a booklet about York, and I think it said that underneath the war memorial was something to do with Mithras, and that always stuck in my mind that there are so many layers to York, both the Viking and the Roman and whatever. When the possibility of doing the exhibition in York came up, I wanted to make some sculptures that I could make quite directly with the materials that I had about. I started to look up Mithras and then found there was a tremendous amount of material on the subject. The first sculpture I made, it kind of emerged. It is a little bit of both ideas of taking things and just letting it happen, but also having an idea. There is a bit in the well, it's not a bit. It's an important part of the theme. Is the bull carrying? Mithras found the bull. And so I don't know how he managed to do it, but he carried the bull back to the cave where he killed it. So this, if this has got a theme, it is the idea that it might be about carrying something very heavy, this is very much more heavy lump of steel, and so in the carvings of him or the reliefs of him, he's carrying the bull like that. So there's this idea within the more lighter stuff of something very heavy being carried. That's some kind of wrench and I don't know what that is, but that's also found its way in. But it's used in an abstract manner. So you can kind of see, you can. I've noticed that some of these things have got recognisable pieces of kind of mechanical implements or tools in them, but they're all subsumed into this idea. Reading about the Mithras myth and all the implications of it, the bull carrying, the bull killing, the Tauroctony, the idea of caves, the idea of the cosmos, the idea of the astrological implications, which actually grew out of another group of sculptures which I was doing. One I've just done has emerged in a funny sort of way, and sometimes I don't know how it's going to start out, and it is about the ascent of Mithras and the sun. So the sculpture I've made kind of swirls up into the air, but every time I tried to illustrate this idea, it didn't work. When I just started to do it, I realised it amused me greatly that I've put a big spring coil in it. And I realised that it's the spring coil off an old Mercedes Benz which I always saw as my own particular chariot. I kind of loved this thing. It dropped to Mercedes Benz, supposed not to drop to pieces, and this one did. And these big the springs are in there, so the spring has found its way, sort of swirling up to heaven. Somebody once talked about the sculpture seeming as though they've got another part, like trees. They've got another part underneath the ground, so they're growing up like that. So there is this flow between each part, so they become quite lyrical and light, despite being sort of an industrial material. When I first started making sculpture, the sculptures looked much more. I was interested in vorticism and things like that, and cubist sculpture. So things looked much more. And futurism, so things look much more mechanical, and that's really somehow it's just become more organic looking over the years. I haven't forced it; it's just happened like that. And so it's not purely formal. I want it to be, if it's not strongly formal, it's for me it's not worth doing it really. I mean, you can talk about poetry and reference and the cows come home, but if it hasn't got any formal basis, it doesn't do anything. But it is trying to bring these, I suppose in some cases a kind of narrative or thought process into it, so the sculptures hopefully are quite what I would term as being poetic. They refer to to other things. A long time ago, I talked about sculptures having some sort of poetic reference. I haven't really changed that very much, I don't think.